It's the bottom of the first inning for Badin as they'll take on Valley View. In fact, on the top side of things, Ryan Kirkendall pitched a perfect inning to get things started here, and now Badin will come on offense. They are 24-5 this year, 12-1 out of the GCL co-ed, and here's Lucas Moore. Moore, lefty batter, checks in. 461 hitter and a ground ball underneath the glove of the shortstop, base hit. So the lead man is on as Moore takes the wide turnaround first. So on the game's first pitch, as far as the offense is concerned for Brian Treadway's crew, they get the lead man on. A.J. Engineer here in the 2 spot, and we'll see if Lucas Moore can get stolen base number 200 for the school this season. Here's a throw over to first, not in time. The pitcher today is Aaron Adkins, who's on the hill, right-hander, lanky, as he checks again of second, and the Liberal lead by Moore. He's off and running. Here's the throw down to second, not in time. That's number 200 for Badin this year. Stolen base number 45 this year for Lucas Moore individually. So it's 1-0 on a pitch off the plate to Inninger, beg your pardon. The check of second. Here's the throw plateward. Change of pace. 2-0. So missing just off the plate. Calling balls and strikes for us today is Chris Prokes. He's the home plate umpire. Scott Barr's at first. David McCartney is at third. And we'll get you situated with offense and defense here shortly as we have a called strike to Inninger, 2-1. To be followed by Sergio DiCello. Jimmy Nugent will bat cleanup should anybody else get on here. Landon Viderick will bat fifth and in left field. The check of second once more. It's in the dirt, gloved by the catcher, and going over to third on the little pass ball is Lucas Moore. So Moore, the lead man, 90 feet away from scoring the game's first run. Cooper Fears at third. He'll bat sixth. Ryan Kirkendall's the pitcher, batting seventh. Brady Imhoff's in right field, batting eighth. And Luke McLaughlin at first base this afternoon, batting ninth. Next offering is a called strike. Cuts through the heart of the plate, and we go full. Inninger is a .378 hitter this year. He gets on base 51.5% of the time. So he's a big-time threat at the plate, and a ground ball. This should drive the run in. It's a deep short, and the ground out produces a run. 1-0 Badin. On a fielder's choice that goes 6-3, an RBI for Inninger as Moore crosses the plate. Glad to have you along with us here on Chatterbox Live. Apologies for the late start to our ball game. 81 degrees here at game time, and here's the toss over to first, not in time. Engineer has 31 stolen bases on the season. No wind to speak of here today. Here's a throw down to second and in time. A little bit of a swim move for Engineer as he tried to go in initially with the left hand. Gloved by the right hand. The shortstop put the tag on him, and there is 2 down. Sergio DiCello will take the free base. So we didn't really get a chance to talk about Sergio, switch batter, and obviously you saw him from the left side, 447 batter this year. So we did have, actually that was not a fielder's choice, by the way, on Engineer, who did reach base. He did get caught stealing. So a couple of hits here to start things off. He did get caught stealing here, an RBI. And now here's Nugent. Nugent is headed to Penn State after his high school career is done. 6'2", 190 pounds, a junior, bats him as he throws him. We'll play the infield just a bit. He is committed to Penn State. .467 hitter this year. He leads a team in batting. 1-0 here for Badin, as he's driven in 13 this year. And the throw over to first. Well, the base paths have not been too kind here in the initial go on the pickoff play. And a good job by the pitcher, Aaron Adkins, 2 down. So we did see a bit of history here this afternoon. 200 stolen bases for Badin and a ground ball underneath the glove of the shortstop, base hit. Nugent, the wide turnaround first, and he's on with 2 out. That's a third base hit already for Badin here in this first inning. They've all been singles here in this one. Moore single to start off the ball game, stole second, reached third, and came home on the ground ball by Engineer, who did get caught stealing at second for the first out. DiCello did reach on a hit by pitch, but he got picked off 1-3. And we have 2 down as Nugent's at first, and they were trying to get Nugent leaning just a bit. Landon Viderick at the plate. Landon is 6'1", 165 pounds, lefty batter at the plate. .352 hitter this year. He squares the bunt. Nothing doing as he pulls back. 1-0. Cooper Fear waiting to hit in this Badin arsenal, and they are an arsenal as they hit as a team a ton. .365 this year. Here's the 1-0. And it's a called strike, so says Chris Prokes at home plate. It's 1-1. Wide open stance for Viderick. And here's the 1-1. And it's in the air to center field. Moving over to his right is Liam Musgrove. And that's a side. But not without damage as a run crosses on 3 hits. A runner left. We played 1 in the books here in Kings Mill. 1-0 Badin here on Chatterbox Live. Top of inning number 2 here on Chatterbox Live. Glad to have you along for this one. I'm Geoff Kim. Reid Mouse to join me here. Shortly 1-0. On a little infield base hit by A.J. Inninger, who drive in Lucas Moore. And Ryan Kirkendall is staked to a 1-0 lead. Big right-hander, throws plateward, and it's a fastball downstairs for ball 1 to Troy Coulter. Shortstop today. Troy Coulter, 6'4", as this one's a bouncer in the dirt. .349 hitter this year. He's driven in 21, has homered once. 2-0 the count. And it's a bouncing ball, gloved by the third baseman. Easy hop and easy throw over to first by Cooper Fear. 1 down here in the Valley View second inning. Infield defense, left to right, third to first, around the horn. Cooper Fear, who we just talked about at third. Sergio DiCello over at short. A.J. Inninger over at second. And Luke McLaughlin, the first baseman. Ryan Kirkendall throwing to Jimmy Nugent. We'll give you the outfield in just a second. And this one just a hair off the plate for ball 1. Landon Viderick in left, Lucas Moore in center, and Brady Imhoff over in right. Here's the 1-0. And it's fouled back to the screen, strike 1. To Owen Harvey. Owen is 6'2", 200 pounds. Senior, a right-handed batter, bats him as he throws him. .435 hitter this year. Has driven in 4, and we've got the arrival of Reid Mouse.
Yeah, nice to be aboard here. Been a chaotic day, but finally get to sit down and watch some baseball at one of the best venues in Southwest Ohio.
Amen, and you and I have a for the lack of a better way to put it, it's not basketball, but we do have a courtside view.
We do. We got the diamond seats, I think is what they call them. Got to pay premium for these.
An exchange of balls. It's 2-1 with one out here in this visiting second inning. Badin has a 1-0 lead. And the fastball missing a bit downstairs. 3-1 to Harvey. And you've seen young Mr. Kirkendall quite a bit on the hill. What's his stuff?
Well, I mean, it's nothing phenomenal, but he's just a competitor, and he comes right at you every time.
Fouled. It's in the air off the first baseline and hits the top of the dugout, and we go full.
Yeah, if you go down the catalog of Badin arms, Kirkendall's he's really not near the top in terms of talent, in terms of stuff. But you know what? He's the guy that they trust the most out there, and he wins them ball games because he's a competitor and he comes right out every single hitter.
I'll tell you his numbers after this pitch. Here's the payoff by Kirkendall. He comes plateward. Called third strike. That's a second strikeout looking this afternoon for Ryan Kirkendall, 2 down.
And when he's got that 12-6 curveball that he likes to show as he just froze the hitter right there, he's tough to beat.
Kirkendall at 6'1", has pitched the most innings on this team. This is his 9th appearance, his 8th start. He's got 1 complete game, 39 2/3 innings, 34 hits, 11 runs, 6 earned, 9 walks, 42 strikeouts, swing and a miss. It's 0-1. He's 7-0 on the season. Coming into this ball game, he has pitched a shutout, and he's got a sparkling 1.06 earned run average.
It's pretty sharp.
Swing on a strike 1 pitch to Troy Hypes. It's 0-2. Hypes is 6'4", 160 pounds. It's just a sophomore. He's a .227 batter this year. Has driven in a run. Here's a strike 2 offering. Swing and a miss. And that's a side. 3 up, 3 down here in the top of the second. And to the bottom of the frame we go. 1-0 Badin here on Chatterbox Live. And to the bottom of the second we go. 1-0 Badin. Along with Reid Mouse, I'm Geoff Kim. Thanks for joining us here on Chatterbox Live. Glad to have you along for this one. As we have 6, 7, and 8 coming up for the home team in this one. I know it's a neutral field, but when you hit in the bottom of the frame, guess what? You're the home team. Badin this year has scored 259 runs coming into this contest. They've only given up 125. That's a differential of 134. They're scoring just about 9 runs a contest and allowing just over 4 runs a contest, actually closer to a 4 1/3, as we have Adkins on for his second inning of work, strike 1 on a foul away. Aaron Adkins throwing to Gavin DeGroat. I'll give you the rest of the defense here in a minute. As Adkins waits and now deals a strike 1 pitch. It's a bouncer in the dirt when we even up. First to third is Owen Harvey, Cam Scholar. Troy Coulter's the shortstop. Ryan Kraft is the third baseman. Turner Ebersol in left. Liam Musgrove in center. And Logan Tays in right. And there's the defense here for Valley View, in with a record of 16-12. And there's a called strike. 1-2 the count. And it's been quite an odyssey for the young men of Matt Gentry, who's their head coach over in Germantown. Still waiting on this one here. Cooper Fear waits on the 1-2. And it's a ground ball foul off the first base side. Fear is 6 foot tall, 170 pounds. A junior, bats him as you see as he throws him. 407 hitter this year. Here's the pitch. It's upstairs, 2-2.
Son of a baseball coach, too. His dad used to be the head baseball coach out for the Wyoming Cowboys back when I used to play. Chris Fear.
Had a good game 2 days ago, 2 for 3. A stolen base and a called strike. Stolen base, 2 runs, drove in 2, and they're 16-1 win over New Richmond. We go full at 3-2. 1-0 Badin. And a line drive into center field, base hit. So he got a pitch to hit right over the heart of the plate, and he's on, and that's the 4th hit of the ball game for the home team Badin this afternoon.
Yeah, just a good job. Kept it over the heart of the plate, and he worked a long at-bat. And you know how the old adage goes that the longer you're in that batter's box, the better odds you are of getting on first base, and he showed it with a great swing there.
Ryan Kirkendall will try to move the lead man along. He steps in, today's starting pitcher, and he's thrown 2 perfect innings so far. And this one left up and in just a bit. It's ball 1.
Kirk, one of the few players that has played in a district championship game before, back 2 years ago when Badin was competing for a Division I district championship against Turpin.
Here's the toss back over to first. Kirkendall at 6'1", a senior pitcher, and first baseman as well. 372 hitter. He has a great eye at the plate. A team best 24 walks and another throw over to first. So he's getting on base 52.5%. He's got a whip of 1050. Secondary lead, runner won't go, and the pitch plateward.
You're seeing how much, you mentioned the 200 stolen bases that Badin has, and you're seeing how much that is in the heads of the teams that they play. I mean, they're going to be trying pickoffs. The pitchers can't get comfortable out there.
Runner going, Fear down to second. Here's a throw down. He is. He's safe.
Yeah, he dropped the ball right in front of the base and beat the throw, and just another showing of, when you steal bases, you put yourself in a great opportunity to score some runs.
That's his 12th stolen base of the year. As a team, that's 201. This one skied into right field, a high fly ball towards the line. The right field, Logan Tays, records the out, and the runner moves up to third.
Good job by Kirkendall going backside. He knows after that the runner gets on second base, pretty much anything to the right side moves that runner over to third with 1 out. And just doing a good job. Didn't get all of it, but moved him 90 feet.
Brady Imhoff is the 1-out batter. Junior, 6 foot tall, 165 pounds, 289 hitter this season. Little conference on the hill as we get a chance to play catch-up because we didn't get a chance to really set the tone here. One of the things that we did want to mention coming on in is the grand larceny that Badin has been a part of this year.
Right.
They came in with 199 stolen bases. They've stolen 2 inside the first 2 innings of this ball game, and they've been on quite a run, literally and figuratively. I think 26 stolen bases in the last 2 games.
Yeah, and then they have a few guys that are approaching near the 40 numbers, if not over them. Mm-hmm. And, a high school team that gets 40 stolen bases in an entire year, that's pretty on the march or pretty on par, and they've got players that are doing it themselves.
1-0. Down in the dirt, and we go to 2-0. Imhoff at the plate, Luke McLaughlin on deck. 1-0 here in Kings Mill in this District Day final. And the fastball off the corner outside, 3-0. Adkins, as we had mentioned, he's an infielder as well during the regular season, so he splits time between the hill and the infield. And here's a 3-0 and a called strike. Cuts through the heart of the plate. It's 3-1. Adkins, a senior pitcher. In fact, he's the class valedictorian. Got a chance to talk with Matt Gentry, the head coach. Good young man. Doesn't say a whole lot, and this one downstairs for ball 4. So 2 on with 1 out, and here's McLaughlin.
McLaughlin, one of the few in that rotating position that has been the designated hitter, of course, with Ryan Kirkendall on the mound. They're going to keep him in the lineup. McLaughlin's moving over to first base, but that's been a big find or a big mystery for Badin is who's going to be the designated hitter this year. They've tried several people. McLaughlin often is the guy.
Runners on the corners. Swing on the first play. It's flied into center field. This might drive in the run. Here's the throw on home towards the plate. It is late. 2-0 Badin. On a sac fly to center by McLaughlin here in the second frame.
Yeah, good job by really everybody a part of that play. McLaughlin just sent that into the outfield. And then, of course, Cooper Fear having enough speed to get home. But even the defense did a good job at both the right fielder throwing one. And if you're going to miss, you got to miss up the line. The catcher had to step in front of the home plate. And I think he was close to getting the back foot of Cooper Fear before he touched home plate. But they said no dice, and it's 2-0.
We didn't give you the particulars on Adkins. This is his 6th appearance on the hill, 3rd start, 16 and a third innings. He's given up 9 hits coming to the ballgame, 7 runs, all of which were earned, 14 walks, 17 strikeouts, a 1-1 record coming in with a save and a 3 ERA. And I think we have caught up with all our housekeeping that we normally do prior to the ball game. 2-0 in favor of Badin, today's home team here in Kings Mill. And an interesting sight, and I don't know if we get a proper visual from our broadcast location as we go back to the top of the lineup with Lucas Moore, who singled, stole the school's 200 base this season, and came around to score. This one's in the dirt, and this one allows Imhoff to go to second.
Not only do they steal bases, but that's just a good dirt ball read by Brady Imhoff, getting a big secondary, saw that it's headed downwards. And when you're on first base and you see the ball heading towards the dirt, you just got to take off and trust your legs and get into second.
Moore waiting on the 1-0. Stand-up stance at the hill, and he lines one into center field. Base hit. Here comes Imhoff, 3-0.
Good start to the day. Hot start to the day by Lucas Moore. Began the bottom of the first inning with a single. Of course, didn't come around and score, or eventually did come around and score. Then he gets the RBI right there, makes it 3-0.
And you know, even with 2 out here, he's going to be a threat to steal. And he's got a good lead, and now looking at the secondary lead as it's Inninger waiting as he came in with a infield base hit to drive in Moore back in the first frame. The quick toss over to first, nothing doing. DiCello waiting for an actual swing. He's on deck. And again, paying attention is today's starting pitcher, Aaron Adkins. 2 quick throws over to first, and Moore back in. Lucas Moore committed to Kentucky. And a ground ball down low. It gets away from the catcher, and the runner moves up 90 feet. Not exactly a pass ball, but just off the glove by the catcher, just enough where Moore was looking for just about anything. And if it looked like it was going to move off the plate, he's going to steal the next base, and he's on second.
Yeah, and he really doesn't need any help on the base paths anyways.
He's moving towards third. Here's the throw down the third, nowhere near in time, stolen base.
Showing why the UK Wildcats want him to play baseball there in a few years. Already committed to University of Kentucky. Great football player and showing that speed.
This one's in the air off the first baseline. Foul and out of play right at the fence. Two and one. On the foul away at the plate by Inninger. Bats him as he throws him, the second baseman. He did come in with a .378 batting average. And, partner, it is amazing the number of players that have on-base percentages beyond 50%. Here's a 2-1. It's in the air. Foul. This one may stay alive for the first baseman. Giving chase, and it'll drop in foul, and we do it again at 2-2.
Yeah, but Badin's just that old adage that hitting comes as a team. You mentioned a little information before this game that when they don't score 5 runs, they have a sub-500 record. But, when they win and they score a lot. I mean, we saw them put up, 16, 17 runs in the previous postseason game?
Yes, 16-1.
It comes in droves.
Here's the pitch. Downstairs we go full. Now, are you a bit surprised? I know that we talked about that tidbit off the air, and I have to tell you, for a team so accomplished, number 2 in the state by ranking, that they would actually have a losing record when they don't score 5 or more.
Well, and it hasn't happened a whole lot, right?
Right. Line drive, base hit, 4-0. Inninger takes the turnaround first. He will head to second standing up. A 2-base hit for Inninger as he drives in Lucas Moore from third. And a crooked number for sure here in this frame, 4-0.
Yeah, it's no secret my affinity for A.J. Inninger. Got to see him all basketball season, playing little point guard. But, he was the GCL Co-Ed Player of the Year 2 seasons ago in the Central Division. And just like that, he's having a great senior year, great ball player, an absolute gamer.
So Aaron Adkins is done after 1 2/3 innings, and we'll see a new pitcher. As we take a look here for number 28, he was Joey Sims, a junior right-hander, or junior left-hander, as we're getting a look at him for the first time, making his 7th appearance. He's made 4 starts, 25 innings pitched, 30 hits allowed, 23 runs allowed, 20 of which have been earned, 17 walks, 25 strikeouts, a 2-1 record coming in, and a 5.60 earned run average. So he's in relief with a man on here in this home half of the second inning. Three have crossed here in the home half of the second. Everything's going right here for Badin. In fact, Ryan Kirkendall, 2 perfect frames. And then you've got a 1 spot in the early inning, the first inning, in which, and I am a big fan of big, round, milestone-type numbers, but Lucas Moore steals this 200 base this year by Badin, and then it's a 3 spot so far here in the second.
Right, got 3 runs, and given Kirkendall, who's already a great competitor and kind of come at you pitcher, but making him real comfortable for when he goes back out on the mound, and they're still threatening. And I got to tell you, it's been a while since Badin's played a district championship game out here at Kings. It's been exactly 10 years on the mark since the last time they played their district championship, I believe, out here. And it didn't go so well last time they came out here. That was back when I was a freshman. I was a freshman Badin Ram, and the varsity team was out here, and they lost that district championship, which was troubling at the time because that would have been the 4th straight year that Badin would have went to state if they would have made it that far.
So here's Sims in relief of Adkins. The left-hander deals play at word, and it's just a hair off the plate for ball 1. A little delayed call from us calling it. We have, again, what you call the diamond seats, as Reid had coined it, and that part of the disadvantage of that, as we have a long drive into left field, down the line, and foul. Boy, a lot of thunder on that one, but it's a loud strike.
With the lefty on the bump, it moves the switch-hitting Sergio DiCello to the other side, and typically a switch hitter likes to hit from the left side, a little more familiar, see a lot more right-handed pitching, but Sergio putting a jolt into that one.
Switch batter batting again from the right side, as Reid just mentioned. Strike one, actually 1-1, and the fastball rides high, 2-1. Sergio, who was hit by a pitch in the first frame, 447 batter, getting on base darn near 60% of the time, 593. He's got a 671 slugger. Is homered and driven in 29 this year. The check of second again by the new pitcher, Sims. He deals play at word, and a little breaking ball, ground ball, takes a bad hop for the third baseman, the throw over to first in time, and that's a side. But 3 cross here in the bottom of the second, and we've got a brand new score here in Kings Mill, 4-0 in favor of Badin here on Chatterbox Live. To the top of the third frame we go. 4-0 Badin along with Reid Mouse, the mighty one. I'm Geoff Kim. Thanks for joining us here on Chatterbox Live for District Day. Badin has gotten 2 perfect innings from Ryan Kirkendall. He has struck out 3 in this ballgame. And by the way, closed the book on the Valley View starter, Aaron Adkins. An inning and 2/3, 6 hits, 4 runs, all of which have been earned. A walk and no strikeouts. He's on the hook for the loss this afternoon. Part of our District Day coverage here on Chatterbox Live. And partner, you and I had some interesting games back on Tuesday as we await Cam Scholler to step on in. He's a second baseman for Valley View today, and the pitch plate word is a fly ball into left center field. Giving chase is Viderick, 1 down. So I had a game, in fact, it was the Oak Hills game, in which they only gave up about 3 1/3 runs coming on in. They gave up 15 to Moeller and lost in that sectional final 2 days ago.
Yeah, you asked me before the game who I thought, and it's hard. It's just kind of been ingrained in me to bet against Moeller at this point, regardless of the sport.
Aaron Adkins will get a chance at the plate to bat as he waits, and a called strike, 0-1. Kirkendall has been dealing today, just dealing. Here's a strike one pitch. And a little hump on that one, missing just off the plate. I don't know where that was, but it's 1-1.
Hey, you mentioned he's dealing, and it all starts with that breaker that you just saw right there. If that's his bread and butter, that keeps people off their toes.
Ground ball to short. Glove by DiCello, throws it on over to first, and not in time.
Yeah, just played with it a little too much. It was bobbling around in his glove. Couldn't really get a good, crisp handle on the ball when he's throwing that over. And, part of that probably has to do with the fact that these players, they move around a lot. The only people that are consistently in the same position is Cooper Fear and A.J. Integer and Lucas Moore. Everyone else, they're moving around frequently out there. Sergio DiCello's played 5 positions this year.
He's been masterful, and he'll play at the next level. And a long fly ball into left field. Viderick back, 1 pitch, 1 out. So do you call that one a hit or error on that play for Adkins?
There's a runner on first base, so I try to stick away from the hit and errors because, quite honestly, it causes me a lot of grief. that old rule that doesn't really have a definition, they just kind of roll with it. But I'll say an error. I'd say that should have been an out if we're going by the lay of the law.
And the ball underneath the legs of the hitter, and Adkins moves on over to second. Well, if that's the case, we're going to call E6 at this point. Keep the no-hitter intact for young Mr. Kirkendall until somebody tells us otherwise.
Right.
So Adkins over at second. Kirkendall pays a little attention to him and now deals play at word. Fastball, called strike. It's funny. We do live in the age of pitches that break everywhere, right? Whether it's a slider, whether it's a two-seamer that has a little hook to it, or the cutter. Checked at the plate and a called strike, 1-2. Now, I still maintain this, and maybe you will agree or disagree with me as a catcher. A well-placed fastball is still the best pitch and the one that you really want for a strike.
Right. No, it definitely is. Back when I played up in college, we had a kid who was a soft-tossing, threw like 75 miles an hour, but he's our best pitcher because he threw that inside fastball right on your hand so effectively that these guys would go in the batter's box just foaming at the mouth, getting ready to hit off this guy that's just soft-tossing it up there, and they can't even get him into the outfield because he's sawing them off.
Here's the 1-2. Fastball just off the plate, 2-2. So Liam Musgrove, the center fielder, stays alive at 2-2. We didn't get a chance to call him the last time around. He did ground out to the pitcher to lead off the ball game. Here's a 2-2, and it's skied in the left. Viderick draws a beat, steps in a couple steps, and that's a slide. Viderick takes care of all 3 runners. No runs, no hits, or runner left. We played 2.5. 4-0 Badin here on Chatterbox Live. Bottom of the third coming up. It's 4-0 Badin, and to take you through the next few, my main man, Reid Mouse.
Jimmy Nugent, Landon Viderick, Cooper Fear due up for the Badin Rams. They're going to have 4, 5, 6, the heart of the order, or at least the Clubbers are, facing off against Joey Sims. They got 3 in the last inning, scored 1 in the first, up 4-0 here. And after scoring 16 in the district semifinals, looking to plate some more. Badin and back in Division II, looking for their first district championship since 2016. It's been 5 years. 2017, they moved up to Division I and have sat there since then. First pitch in the Jimmy Nugent, called strike. Bottom half of the third. Sims kicks, deals, breaking ball. Nugent chops it over to third base. Third baseman has it, collects himself, throws it over to first for the first out of this third inning.
Man, that's a fantastic play from Ryan Kraft. nearly in the splits, composed himself and had enough on it to still beat his man by a step.
Yeah, great job. Caught that on the backhand and, like you said, did the splits out there, maintained himself, and still got a good throw over to first base. So now stepping in will be Landon Vitterick. He was the third out of the first inning. Trying to get something going here in this third.
We talked about this being the running Rams, right? And in the last 2 playoff games, they've stolen 22 bases.
As there's a strike called on Vitterick, 1-1.
10 bases against New Richmond in their 16-1 win on Tuesday, and then 12 back on Thursday against Clinton Massey. They won 10-1. Whoa!
Ooh, and look out there as Vitterick takes one off the dome, and he'll take first base. Looks to be all right. A big old whoa.
And you get the home plate umpire, Chris Prokes, walking the ball back out to the pitcher's mound. So you got to know that verbally or non-verbally, there's a little message on that one.
Right. I'll tell you what, though, and this is maybe just my CTE brain talking, but out of all the places I like to get hit by a pitch back in the day, the helmet was near the top of the list because oftentimes it would just ricochet off. It's hard plastic, so you'd be all right. Wouldn't leave you a bruise at least not one on the outside of your skin, maybe up in your old noggin.
By the way, speaking of hit by pitches, and I know you and I watch Major League Baseball a ton, and I'll wait for this next pitch.
Here goes the 0-0 to Cooper Fear, misses upstairs, 1-0.
Did you catch the hit by pitch on Kevin Pillar?
I did. I saw at least I saw the remnants of what it left on Kevin Pillar's profile.
He's still lucky to have a nose.
Right. And that's where it's scary. I mean, talk about, I believe, what's the old Chicago Cubs player that in the first pitch he ever saw in the majors got hit in the helmet and never made his way back up?
An outfielder.
Yeah, Greenberg maybe or something along those lines.
Like Adam Greenberg or something?
Yeah. As the 1-0 is going to be in there for a called strike, 1-1. Cooper Fear got the second inning going with a base knock before coming around and scoring. And that 3-run second. Sims comes set. He's at the belt. Sims, breaking ball. Too high. Brings it to 2-1. Not too many high schools have an amusement park sitting in the outfield outfield view.
What is that? Is that the drop zone beyond right center?
Right. As this one's going to be popped up to left field. The runner was on the move. He's going to have to backtrack. Left fielder calls off Kraft, and that'll be the second out of the inning. So now we'll see Ryan Kirkendall, who flew out to right field his last time, trying to keep this inning going with 2 gone in the third inning.
By the way, this was not the only no-hit attempt I've watched today.
Did the Tigers end up getting no hit again?
I'll wait.
Here's the first pitch to Kirkendall. He hammers that one out to left center field. Left fielder's giving chase. He's right at it as he was playing at the wall. That's the third and final out. We're heading to the top half of the fourth inning. Reid Mouster along here with Geoff Kim. You're watching Chatterbox Live. Ryan Kirkendall slowly walks out to the pitcher's mound for this fourth inning. Yet to give up a hit in this district championship game. He'll see 2, 3, 4 due up for the Valley View Spartans.
By the way, I know that you're an old Badin Ram, and I know that you're not familiar with having seen Valley View because the last time I checked here, and just then only in the data going back to 2013, these two schools have not played one another.
Yeah, I've been playing in 2013, 2014, and did not remember ever playing Valley View. Back when we played, Badin was in Division III, so we wouldn't have seen them in the postseason, which really would have been our only chance to play them. But, yeah.
Out of Germantown, out of the Southwest Buckeye League, best known for football.
I was about to say, I'm sure the Badin and Valley View football teams have faced off a few times in the postseason.
Now, Valley View, they've been a little dry the last handful of years, but they had a 2.5-decade run where they were winning districts, regionals. They won 3 state championships. In fact, 3 in a 4-year span. If I recall, it was 94, 95, and 97.
In baseball, really?
No, I'm sorry, in football.
In football, okay. Yeah, they've got a lot of pride in their football program. I remember they played Corey Kiner and the Roger Bacon Spartans had a controversial call 2 falls ago as the first pitch to Gavin DeGroat. Misses in the dirt. He struck out looking his first time all the way back in the first inning.
One of 3 strikeouts today by Kirkendall.
As that one's going to miss as well. So DeGroat, the starting catcher for the Valley View Spartans. Here comes the pitch from Kirk. I apologize. DeGroat's going to chop that one foul. We'll do it at 2-1.
So, partner, I think this, right? So those first 2 balls before the last swing and a strike, those pitches were low. You think that's in direct contrast to the fact that he had 3 outs retired to left the last time up.
He did. And, he's just getting on top of it. It's getting later in the ball game, so pitchers got to almost refine themselves as the game progresses, and not refine as you do to oil, like research for what kind of pitch you are, as DeGroat's going to have one out to left center field. Vitterick comes in, snags it before it can get in the gap, and they'll have their first base hit of the ball game with Rylan Kraft due up.
And, partner, as a quick aside, I'm glad that was a ringing base hit, right? Because I had, when we were talking about hitter error in the last frame to Aaron Adkins, that was such a tough play to say, well, if that's your first hit and that's the only hit you give up in a no-hit bid, that's awful. You can't do that to a pitcher. This one was a ringing one, no doubt.
Right. It's you want it to be definite. You don't want to leave anything open to interpretation, which is oftentimes one of my big stresses with that old air hit rule, that it is oftentimes up to discretion. As Jimmy Nugent's going to check on DeGroat over there at first. Nothing has it. 1-0 here, and Kirkendall, who's been getting ahead all game, has fallen behind to the 2 and 3 hole hitter here in this 4th inning, as the 1-0 is going to be fouled over the first base dugout. We'll do it at 1-1. One and one here from Kirk. He gets the sign from Nugent. Checks on the runner. He's at the belt. This one's going to be hit over to Enninger at second base. He turns, flips it over to DiCello. Good transfer. Double play for the Badin Rams here in the 4th inning. Enninger to DiCello over to McLaughlin. And that's a 4-6-3 double play.
The old line, 2 for the price of 1. And, I mean, it's funny. You and I talk about this a bit, how much we value certain things because we don't see them as much in the high school game. Home runs are one of those, but double plays, especially tailor-made ones, are another.
Yeah, it takes oftentimes a ball hit right at the middle infielders for there to even be a chance to turn a double play. And it's just poetry in motion when you see one that actually gets completed. It's why people get romantic about baseball oftentimes, as Kirkendall falls behind to Troy Coulter 2-0. Valley View in their traditional navy blue. This one's going to be in there for a called strike. You mentioned their great football programs. They had a girls basketball team make it to the regional semifinals. Believe they might have only lost 2 games all season long this year. As that one's going to be fouled straight back. One of those games being to the Carroll Patriots, who ended up winning the regional for girls basketball Division II. 2-2 the count here to Coulter. Kirk tries the breaking ball in the dirt, bounces in front of the plate, moves it to full. And after some stressless innings, and though he got the double player, he has thrown a lot of pitches here in this 4th inning. Coulter back in the batter's box. Kirkendall getting the sign. Here's the payoff pitch. Yes, he did. They're going to check on him. Right call there is made on the swinging strike 3. We're going to head to the bottom half of the 4th inning. Stay tuned. You're watching at Chatterbox Live. Sims back out for another inning of work. He'll face off against Brady Imhoff, Luke McLaughlin, and Lucas Moore. 8-9-1 due up for the Badin Rams. Badin in their cream pinstripe jerseys.
They're sharp. I mean, they are absolutely sharp. I do feel like it's St. Patrick's Day, though.
Right. They're divisive, that's for sure. All three of their jerseys are. If you hang it around enough Badin crowds, you'll hear some very strong opinions about the baseball team's uniforms. So Sims comes set against Imhoff. Here comes the first pitch of the bottom half of the fourth inning. It misses upstairs. 1-0. Brady Imhoff walked his first time up before coming around and scoring. Third run of this game. Back in the second inning. Imhoff's been a mainstay in this lineup and has been patrolling the bottom half of this order for most of the season. Here comes the 1-1. Breaking ball finds the outside part of the plate and the bottom, as it's going to be now 1-2.
Good job for Sims.
This ball is going to be hit into left field. Fastball that was just sent right out to the left fielder, and Imhoff is going to have a base hit to begin this fourth inning. And yeah, Imhoff, you were delighted with that breaking ball that just hit the corner of the zone there right before that pitch. I would have liked to see him go back to something along those lines with 2 strikes, but he went for the hard stuff at the bottom half of the zone, and Imhoff just hammered into left.
Now, sometimes there's overthinking, right, at every level.
As here comes back-to-back singles, almost identical to one another, as the 8-9 set up the table for Lucas Moore in the top half of the order.
9 base hits now for Badin. I mean, and the hit attack continues. And, of course, you know, this is a team that you expect to hit. They did come in hitting .365, but they also get on base 48% of the time as a team.
Right. Yeah, it's oftentimes when you're a catcher, you're playing a team, and you get through the teeth of a lineup, and you're like, all right, we can take a breath. We made it through the hard part. Badin's showing, you know, when you're getting on base at 480 clip, it's not a whole lot of weak points in that lineup.
Partner, while we're waiting, up to this point, I know they're behind right now 4-0, but Valley View has not lost this month. They've got a 10-game winning streak. So if you think about
playing at the right time.
Right. So if you think about like hot teams like Badin, the fact that the idea that there's a hotter team than Badin is pretty improbable.
Right. And I figured we might have seen a Lucas Moore bunt here with runners on first and second, and not a sacrifice, but really a bunt for a hit, as he's going to try, being a left-handed hitter, going to probably try to put this down the third base line, as with first and second, typically the first baseman's going to be in on the bunt coverage. Let's see what happens here on the 1-0. Going to have him swinging away. He'll foul one straight back. He'll move it to 1-1. Moore already 2 for 2 on the day. 2 runs scored, 1 RBI. So of the 4 runs, he's attributed to 3 of them. First and second, 1-1's the count. Lefty on lefty here out at Kings High School. Trying the changeup. This is upstairs, 2-1.
Partner, you're going to have to answer this one for me. What's up with the open jersey?
I don't know. I think those kids are just trying to be cool. I see DiCello, who we'll see in a little bit, as here comes Moore. He lays one down the third base line. Great job. Sims is going to throw it over to first. Won't be in time. Lucas Moore goes 3 for 3 on the bunt single. And now the bases are juiced for A.J. Henninger. But, yeah, I think I saw an interview with Sergio DiCello from Tuesday night's game, and he was rocking pretty much just 2 buttons, and he's doing it again, going shirtless underneath.
When Landon Viderick was up, he was doing much of the same thing. But I guess, hey, to be young and virile and strong, if I've got muscle, if I had that kind of muscle, I'd be showing it off too.
I think I'd go at least one more button up. But here comes the pitch to A.J. Henninger, who he's 2 for 2 on the day as well. A.J. going to Thomas More University. Going to be a Saint. This one's going to find itself into a strike zone. Thomas More often a pipeline for Badin athletes. Their head football coach, Nick Yorty, was a Thomas More Saint. This ball is going to be chopped over to the third baseman. Got to play at the plate. They got it. Can they turn two? Not in time. So take a deep breath or a big sigh of relief if you're Valley View, because they get a huge first out with nobody scoring. But the work's not done as Sergio DiCello is going to step into the batter's box. Kraft doing a good job coming up, getting the big hop, throwing it to DeGroat at home. Didn't try anything. Oftentimes they might try to throw that to first to get the double play. Good job by DeGroat just taking the out. So another off-speed pitch to DiCello. He takes it. It's 1-0. Cello 0 for 1. Grounded out to Kraft his last time. Kraft, I apologize. Made that very tough play. And this ball is hammered. It's back. Left fielder looks up as this one's going to bang up against the left field wall. 1 run will score. 2 runs as A.J. Integer is closely behind Lucas Moore. They'll score as A.J. Integer slides into home plate. A base-clearing double by Sergio DiCello, and it's 7-0. So we mentioned that the last out was big for Valley View, but the work wasn't done, and DiCello shows it as that line drive rattled up against the 365 mark of the left center field wall. Thought it might have had a chance to get out of here, but it did not. But regardless, 3 runs are plated. So this ball is going to be hit deep in the left field. Camped underneath it for the second out. And DiCello is going to tag up. They throw it out to third base. Croft puts the tag on him. And a double play to conclude this inning. Great play by Valley View, but the damage has been done. Sergio DiCello plates 3 runs on a bases-clearing double. We're heading to the top half of the 5th. Stay tuned. You're watching Chatterbox Live. Valley View due up here in this top half of the 5th, trying to get some runs. Got to get the sticks out as they find themselves in a 7-0 hole. And they're going to see Owen Harvey, Troy Hypes, and Cam Scholler due up here in this 5th inning. And Ryan Kirkendall back out for his 5th inning of work. Had a little bit of stress in the last inning, but still has been very clean throughout.
As we pay our attention to Valley View, coming into the month of May, they were 6-12. They had a differential of minus 38 basically at the turn. And then May Day hits, and what happens? They go 10-0 up to this point, and they're plus 70 coming into this ballgame. 92 runs. They've only given up 22 runs coming into this contest.
Really?
Amazing.
Heck of a month playing at the right time. And don't count them out yet as they have 3 trips to the plate to make up their deficit, as the first pitch that Owen Harvey sees will be chopped foul. Brings it to 0-1. So Harvey went down swinging his last time up. Kirkendall breaking ball finds the strike zone. Puts Harvey in a well. 0-2. Kirkendall getting the sign. Nugent relaying it from McKinney, and a swinging strike 3. As the fastball fools Harvey for the first out of the inning. And what an interesting sentence to say, is you don't get a whole lot of chances to say that in baseball broadcasting. The fastball fools him. It was apparent that he was looking for that bender. There comes the first pitch to Troy Hypes, and it's in there for a called strike. Kirkendall found his momentum.
So he's back in the groove after what he was in the first 2 frames.
0-1 is going to be fouled straight back, bringing it to 0-2.
Now, how much of that, partner, you've caught, so, you see these guys throwing darts at you. How much of that is just 3 extra runs where you pitch a little differently strategy-wise.
Oh, you certainly do. You don't have to be perfect. As this is going to be a swinging strike 3 for Troy Hypes. Ryan Kirkendall striking out the first 2 batters of this 5th inning. I actually had an interesting conversation with the Lakota East coaching staff, and they were talking about the lull that they hit towards the back end of the season by just by the fact that when their hitters went cold, their pitchers actually struggled more because they started trying to make more perfect pitches. They try to make the greatest pitch they could throw every time instead of just going right at the hitter. And oftentimes, and you're seeing what Ryan Kirkendall is doing right now, he's just going right at him. Just as I say that, he falls behind to Cam Scholler, 2-0.
And Nugent walking out to the hill to hand the ball off. And it's funny, right? Sometimes when you have a ball that gets a catcher or gets an umpire, that extra 10 seconds or so, it makes all the difference in the world to get that stinging to go away.
Right. And sometimes you'll get some umps or some catchers with a lot of pride. They'll be like, no, come on, let's just keep the game going. As the 2-0 fastball is going to be swung at and missed. The top of the zone. 2-1 here to Scholler. He put a good jolt into one his last time up, but flew out to Vitterick. This ball is going to find the strike zone, so after falling behind 2-0, Kirkendall evens it up at 2s. So 2 away in this 5th inning as Kirkendall is looking to strike out the side. Here's the payoff pitch to Scholler. Breaking ball, chops it over to first base. McLaughlin fields it, flips it over to Kirkendall. 1-2-3, 5th inning. Badin Rams going to come up in the bottom half of the 5th, up 7 runs. Stay tuned. I'm Reid Mouse, joined along here with Geoff Kim. You're watching Chatterbox Live. Landon Vitterick, Cooper Fear, and Ryan Kirkendall due up for the Badin Rams as they have a 7-0 lead. Sims back out for another inning of work. It's the bottom half of the 5th out here at Kings High School. The Badin Rams looking for their first district championship since, I believe, all the way back since 2016.
Yep.
2016, they lost in the state championship to another powerhouse, Defiance. Went into extra innings. As here's the first pitch to Landon Vitterick. Misses downstairs. Oddly enough about that 2016 team, Badin has been a part of the GCL in one way or another since all the way back in 1991. As Vitterick shows bunt, he'll take it down 2-0. They've won a share or outright a GCL title every year but that 2016 season on the ball diamond, and they ended up going to the state championship in lieu. I think that's a fair trade-off. 3-0 here to Vitterick.
State champs in 1991 and 96. Do they have another?
Do you know the head coach of those teams? Here comes the 3-0.
I would imagine that he is a familiar relation to you.
Yeah, he's my biggest critic on Twitter oftentimes. Here comes the 3-1. As that one's going to be in there for a called strike. Vitterick drops his bat. He's going to have to pick it back up as the count's going to be full. So Vitterick reached base his last time up. Trying to do it again. Full count. Sims. Vitterick's going to foul this one down the left field line. We'll do it again at full. Brian Treadway was on that 96 team. Got the win in both the state semifinal and state final game on the mound. Here comes the full count. And it's a breaking ball that froze Vitterick. That off speed confused him enough to not let him pull the trigger. And that's a looking strikeout to begin this 5th inning.
That's the first strikeout produced by Sims, who's done a good job in relief. I mean, I know that he had a tough frame the last time around, but this thing could have turned into 10-0 in the 3rd inning.
He's throwing a lot of strikes, and he's not losing his confidence out there on the bump, which is key. So Cooper Fear's going to step into the batter's box. He's 1 for 2. Breaking ball misses downstairs, brings it to 2-0.
By the way, you know how we were talking about scoring and the relation to wins and losses before? When scoring 6 or 7 runs this year, Badin's 3-0. Now, of course, when they score 8 or more, that's the impressive number.
Right.
19-1.
They're undefeated when they outscore the other team as well. 3-0 is the count here to Cooper Fear.
I'm thinking about the Captain Obvious commercials right now.
And a called strike as Cooper Fear had the take sign. 3-1 to Fear. Fear's been a very consistent player over there at the hot corner and with the stick this year. So 3-1 moves to full. As for the second straight batter, Sims has fallen behind but has worked it back to full. Let's see what happens here. Breaking ball chopped over to the left side of the infield. Fielded cleanly, throws it over to first. Second out of this 5th inning.
So a great job by Sims. In fact, down 3-0 in counts to the first 2 hitters of this inning. Coaxes a strikeout after going full, and then he goes 3-1 here, and he coaxes a ground out.
Right. Does a good job, and you can call that a classic rope-a-dope. Falling behind, but still getting the outs regardless. And now it's pitcher versus pitcher as Kirkendall is going to swing at the first pitch he sees. This is going to be in play, waiting for a call to happen. First baseman has it for the third and final out. Kirkendall avoiding contact in the baseline. And that's going to be a 1-2-3 inning. That's going to be Valley View's first of the ball game. And we're going to head back to the 6th inning. It's 7-0. Stay tuned. You're watching Chatterbox Live. Kirkendall back out there for the 6th inning. He's going to try an Iron Man performance. I am not, as I'm going to hand the mic back over to my partner, Geoff Kim. Geoff?
Reid, thank you very much. To reset, 320 down the lines, 365 to the power alleys, 380 to straightaway center, 9-foot walls here in Kings Mill. Here in this district day final, Kirkendall pitching 5 innings, 1-hit shutout baseball. He struck out 5 in this contest. In fact, he had a stretch of striking out 3 in a row to end the 4th for the final out, and then 2 more to open up the 5th. So he'll open up things in inning number 6, staked to a 7-0 lead. And it's been enjoyable if you've been a Badin fan in this one, because they've really done everything that you would expect them to do. Score runs by the stolen base, move up on extra on plays in out situations, right? Productive outs into the outfield, move up, and then come on home.
Yeah, they've really put a complete ball game together, and it starts with the guy on the bump. You know, when you're throwing strikes and you're keeping your team in the ball game, it's hard not to rally around that.
And the pitch to Adkins, who has the only hit of the ball game for Valley View, takes downstairs 1-0. Adkins, then Tays, then back to the top in Musgrove. 1-0 is in play. Off the left side, down the third baseline, curving foul. Was that caught?
I'm going to say it was a base knock, because that one's going to fall down.
So just inside the third baseline, and the second knock of the ball game, both belonging to Aaron Adkins.
Well, when you're down 7-0, getting the leadoff guy on is very important, especially if they can find a way to get this 9-hole on and turn over the lineup with first and second.
The long look to home plate. Kirkendall deals, and a nice little breaking ball. Called strike right at the knees. 0-1, so says Chris Prokes at home plate.
Yeah, it's that first strike. I know I'm beating a dead horse here, but when you get that first strike, it opens up your whole repertoire of pitches.
The next pitch is downstairs, a little low this time, and we even up. To reset the defense, it's Kirkendall throwing to Jimmy Nugent. Luke McLaughlin at first base. A.J. Inninger over at second. Sergio Gitello over at short. Cooper Fear at third. The quick check over at first. Left to right in the outfield, Landon Viderick, Lucas Moore, and Brady Imhoff. The way they've played this year and the way they've had a regular rotation with those guys, except for maybe at DH, just feels kind of like the big green machine, if you will. Maybe not the big red machine, but they've produced runs in bunches this year, and the fastball rides high.
And they've scored a lot of runs. They've had a really great season. If you can pinpoint one area or one thing that they've not achieved this year is they haven't beat a whole lot of their rivals. They won the GCL. They beat CJ, knocked them off their crown.
In play, off the first baseline, foul territory, grabbed by McLaughlin at first, one down.
But, the big game of the year, the Hamilton game, they didn't win that one. They didn't beat their Ram counterparts, the Ross Rams. And on top of that, they didn't, Badin, when it comes to the ball diamond, they like to think of themselves at the same pedestal as the GCL South teams. But, they didn't beat Elder. They didn't beat LaSalle. They didn't win those games either.
And that was part of a 3-game losing streak in the middle of the season. Called strike to the top of the lineup we go. And the Liam Musgrove, strike one. They had a 3-game losing streak, and then they ran off 14 in a row right after that.
Eventually losing to, I believe Ross was the one who broke that streak.
This one off the glove of Nugent. He throws down to second, and 2 men covering him, but it doesn't matter as Adkins takes second.
And good job by Atkins seeing that ball get away from Nugent. Nugent actually did a good job fielding it, making a nice throw out to second base, just not in time. And that's really dividends to how quickly Atkins saw that ball in the dirt.
So 1-1, one down here in this 6th frame, 7-0 in favor of Badin. The top seed in this part of the region. And boy, he took something off of that one and got a called strike, 1-2. So Kirkendall pitched downhill in the first 2 innings, found some trouble in the middle innings. They kind of regathered himself at the end of the 4th into the 5th, and now trying to think about second base and does not throw.
I don't know how that inside move ever gets anybody out there at second base. Every pitcher does it, and it fools the base runners out there at least a little bit.
Popped up, foul. Nugent giving chase, and it's into the stands. And we'll do it again at 1-2. Musgrove to be followed by Gavin DeGroat.
DeGroat with one of the 2 singles this game.
Oh, that's right. I had missaid that Adkins had gotten only 2. DeGroat did get the other, so it's a 3-hitter so far for today's starting pitcher.
Adkins had that chopper.
Speaking of choppers, DiCello over to first, and it's off the glove of the first baseman. Here comes the first run of the ball game for Valley View. So an unearned run, but it's a run, 7-1.
Yeah, Atkins actually did a great job running those bases entirely. After getting on with the leadoff single, you get to second on that ball in the dirt with a great read. And then on the chopper out to Sergio DiCello, overthrow and seeing it right away, coming down the third base line. And then once it gets away from McLaughlin, and McLaughlin did a great job keeping that around him, his height, or else that ball's probably going against the fence. But Atkins coming around and scoring and getting Valley View their first run of the game.
So while they didn't save the run, they might have saved the base for Musgrove over at first in a conference call out on the hill. Brian Treadway, the head coach for Badin in his 9th year. I think you had mentioned 10, but obviously they didn't have a 2020 last year. And then Matt Gentry over for Valley View. And getting to talk with Coach Gentry, he was really appreciative of his seniors, 7 seniors this year. And somewhere right around the midpoint of the season, they just kind of figured it out. And the seniors really just, anything that needed to be done, they just took care of business with the youngsters. So the first run is in, and this one rides off the plate. It's 1-0. Gavin DeGroat at the plate. Singled his last time up, 1 for 2. He struck out back in the first. And this one comes a bit inside, missing off the plate, 2-0.
DeGroat, one of the better hitters in this lineup. More and more as the game progresses and, people are learning more about baseball, they're starting to put their best hitter right in that 2 spot.
6 foot tall, 195, and this one skied into right down the line, giving chase. And Brady Emhoff gets the out.
Big second out there by Kirkendall. DeGroat just missing that one, just got a little underneath it and a little behind it. But he doesn't miss too many barrels. Did right there.
And that was a I don't want to say an odd time to take a swing, but I think the situation of the game is what it is. When you're down by 6, you're pressing at the plate a little bit, but when you have a 2-0 count advantage, you normally don't think of swinging unless you get something really, really good. And the first pitch is a called strike to Ryan Kraft. Beg your pardon, Rylan Kraft. Third baseman today. Grounded to that 4-6-3 back in the fourth, 0 for 2. 7-1, the brand new score here. Fastball rides high and inside, 1-1. Troy Coulter waiting on deck to take a swing and see if they can close the gap here. The home plate umpire, Chris Prokes, thought about calling it. Instead, it goes the other way, 2-1. Partner, you and I have been blessed by good weather in this swing and a miss. So you and I had good weather to call games on Tuesday. It came down like we were going to get a great flood yesterday.
I had my arc built and ready.
And today we do have partially cloudy skies, but nothing in terms of rain clouds. Here's a 2-2. Foul back will do it again.
Yeah, it's cooling off. The sun's finally going away and cooling everything off.
Badin, we didn't get the chance to mention them at the top on terms of this. 24-5 coming into this ball game, 12-1, by far the league's best team. They won the league by 4 games this year in the GCL Co-Ed. As we go full. Scoring 259 runs, only allowing 125. Not quite the pitching team that they had 2 years ago, but oh my gosh, does this team run.
Yeah, they score a lot of runs. And, you know, you mentioned they're not the pitching team that they were 2 years ago. They got the talent. And a lot of these coaches are just waiting for that talent to shine.
Payoff. Down in the dirt, ball 4. So a good job at the plate for Rylan Kraft to coax the 2-out walk and keep the inning alive. And at what point, partner, if you're Brian Treadway, do you go to the bullpen?
I'm not sure. I mean, you still got a substantial lead. You're probably not going to let him go out there for the 7th. You're probably going to let a pitcher get a clean inning. I'm wondering about that pitch call selection there. 3-2. You got a 6-run lead, and you go to the breaking ball. And I know it's the 3-hole hitter up, but I think you got to come right at him with that fastball and say, hey, here it is. Try and hit it.
Fastball missing just outside the plate at the knees, ball 1. Troy Coulter struck out the last time up, 0 for 2. The check of second, and Kirkendall deals, and this one's a fly ball in the center field. In his tracks is Lucas Moore, and that's a side. But a run crosses here in the top of the 6th, and a brand new score here in Kings Mill. It's 7-1 Badin here on Chatterbox Live. To the bottom of the 6th we go, 7-1 here in Kings Mill. Along with Reid Mouse, I'm Geoff Kim. Thanks for joining us here on Chatterbox Live. The winner goes to the regional semifinals next week in Mason. It'll be part of a twin bill, and what we're hoping for, and at the risk of sounding partisan, of course, we do serve Butler County more than we do anybody else. Right. Ross is on the other side of the bracket. And wouldn't it be something if we had a Ross-Badin matchup for the final?
I think a lot of people are hoping for that.
Swing on the first pitch, off the first baseline. The first baseman giving chase, and he makes the catch. 1 up, 1 pitch, 1 out as Owen Harvey retires. Brady Imhoff.
Yeah, you can see these Badin hitters just getting a little too comfortable up there at the plate. You know, kind of losing that drive out there. After, taking the 7-0 lead, the next 5 batters have gone out and retired rather harmlessly, I should say.
Foul back into the stands, 0-1 to Luke McLaughlin. Singled, came around to score back in the 4th. Had a sac fly back in the 2nd. And a line shot over shortstop, base hit. So the second hit today for Luke McLaughlin as he'll take the wide turnaround first and stay right there.
That was a familiar scene for McLaughlin as His last base hit was the exact same variety, just a frozen rope out to left field, and they're going to have their first base runner of this 6th inning. The first base runner since Sergio DiCello cleared the bases.
See number 4 coming over to first, Ben Marishin, and we hope we got that pronounced right. Marishin, thank you. Leave it for a Badin man to get it right on a Badin name.
I butcher every other high school. At least I can get one of them right.
So Marishin at first, swing on the first pitch, strike 1.
I'll never forget calling a Ross basketball game very early on in this fall, and I was getting DMs from the few Ross people that I know saying, you are butchering Joe Shuttlecotty's name right now.
Well, it's amazing the names that we have troubles with and don't have troubles with. And a line shot in the left field, and the first 2 have, I beg your pardon, with 1 out, the next 2 have reached. And a 4-for-4 day for Lucas Moore.
Yeah, just ball player. 40 club. I think he had 40 runs scored, 40 stolen bases, and 40 base hits. I can't imagine that's happened too often at the high school level.
No, and you know what? And I did a quick look, but not a real good look at the state rankings. He's got to be near the top of the rankings in runs scored. And a bunt, and a good one. Back to the pitcher. The throw over to third and out. So says David McCartney, the third base umpire, and there's 2 down.
Yeah, great play in the field by Valley View. Sims fielding his position, and DeGroat yelling out exactly where he wanted that ball to go. They put it down the third base line, and since Sims is a left-handed pitcher or left-handed thrower, he really could just field it and go right to it. Didn't have to contort his body in any weird way, and gets that second out of the inning.
Outplay goes 1-5. Marishin is knocked off. Moore moves to second. Inninger moves over to first, and the fastball rides high. Ball 1 to Sergio DiCello. Doubled, in fact, drove in the last 3 runs of this ball game for Badin. Back in the 4th. This one's in the dirt, nicely covered by the catcher. Here's the throw down to third, and safe. You would expect nothing less from Lucas Moore as the 2 runners on base move up 90 feet.
See if Serge can continue his day. 3 RBIs, and with that double his last time up, 2 more just begging to be called in.
He takes this one off the plate outside a breaking ball. 3-0. DiCello to be followed by Jimmy Nugent. Should he reach? Time called at home plate. We did mention this, right? So as far as Division II Region 8 is concerned, 5-seed Ross in the Cincinnati part of the bracket against the Dayton 5-seed Carroll. That's at Carlisle right now. They'll take on the Central 2 winner. That's Highland and Lakewood. And ball 4. So the bases are loaded. So Highland's the 2 seed, Lakewood the 6. The winner of this game, and right now it's Badin, they'll take on the Southwest 1 winner. That's number 2 Wyoming against the Dayton 2 seed Tippecanoe.
Yeah, Tippecanoe made some waves in the AP poll, or the coaches poll, I apologize, earlier this season, and I believe they were at one point ranked 2 when Badin was ranked 3.
Right now at 11, and this one swung on the first pitch, strike 1, as it's fouled away. Tippecanoe is 11 right now in the poll. Badin is only looking up in the poll right now to Miami Trace. However, the weird thing, partner, is Badin does not have a first-place vote. Pitch down low. It gets away from the catcher. Here comes the run. 8-1. Speed kills, and Lucas Moore is a killer. So Inninger moves up. So does DiCello. Third and second. Base open for Nugent. 8-1's your score. Down in the dirt! It's a wild pitch! Here comes Inninger, 9-1.
Yeah, that first pitch you can call a wild pitch, bounce in front of the plate, and all a catcher can do is get your body in front of it and hope it bounces the right way. That one right there, it's just you got to figure out a way to keep that in front of you if you're DeGroat.
So the count's 2-1 to Nugent, and the pitch plateward off the plate, 3-1. Do you swing here?
Yeah, why not? Up 9-1. You got your 4-hole up.
And maybe perhaps the run rule.
If he can put one beyond the fence.
Downstairs, and he'll take a walk.
And if I'm Valley View, I'm going to get my boy Sims right now. He seems to be out of steam.
Well, we have a pinch runner coming in for Nugent.
Sergio's little brother, Diego. So both the cellos on the base paths. And using that courtesy runner rule for the catcher, the 2 away. Former catcher, that was a blessing.
Well, I have to appreciate Sergio. I mean, this is my first time getting a look at him, and this one rides high for ball 1. Landon Viderick at the plate, struck out looking his last time up. 2 have crossed here in this frame, and this one at the knees, a called strike, 1-1.
So if Viderick can put one into the gap somewhere, it might smell the end of this ball game.
A walk-off, so to speak?
Sure.
This one off the plate, 2-1. Well, I've not called one of those, so it's been a while for me.
I'm not sure
if
it really counts if it's a run rule, but
right.
They do walk off the field. So
in the dirt and nicely covered by DeGroat at home plate, 3-1.
And DeGroat doing a good job at keeping Diego DiCello over at first base, but Sims might get out of this, but he seems to just be out of steam.
Nowhere to put him. 3-1. In the dirt. And the run is walked in, 10-1.
And now they're going to come get Sims as the bases become juiced.
Pert and I might have missed a base runner here. So a 2 out here in this 6th frame. We got a pitching change. You're going to see the new pitcher, and he's a right-hander coming in, and a good job by Sims to really kind of hold Badin down for a little while. They've kind of caught up to him as he became a little bit more wild as the innings progressed. Trying to see a number on this one. Of course, you got more of the softball pullovers here for Valley View this year as far as jersey tops are concerned. Looks like 1-6, and it's Cam Scholler, the second baseman, coming in. Scholler, infielder and a pitcher, as you well know. 8 appearances here coming on in, 11 innings, 17 hits he's allowed, 14 runs, 13 of them earned, 10 walks, 11 strikeouts, and an earned run average of 8.27.
So if Cooper Fear can find some outfield pasture, will make this game probably 11-1 and would conclude things here in the 6th. So Scholler just really looking to get 1 out so they can head back to the top half of the 7, at least get 3 outs to work with.
So to help me on this one, to reset, I believe it's DiCello at third, Nugent over at second, and Viderick at first.
Correct.
Okay.
And Jimmy Nugent got a courtesy runner, who is Diego DiCello.
I thought DiCello came in for DiCello.
Nope.
Okay. Well, the first pitch to Cooper Fear is downstairs, ball 1. The next offering, it's in play, back up the middle, and it scoots by the shortstop. In comes DiCello. And in comes DiCello, and that's your ball game, 11-1. Cooper Fear wraps it up, walking them off with 4 in the 6th on a 2-run single, and that's all she wrote as Badin is district champions here again for the first time in 5 years.
And it's been a long time going since they've gotten back to the regional tournament. I believe from 2005, the 11 years before that, they went to the regional tournament every time but twice. So to get back into that regional tournament is something that Badin has been used to, but for the past 5 years has become a distant memory.
Yeah, well, it's back to the future, right? I mean, that's what we're looking at here as, the way this team has operated all year long. They've run on a ton of cylinders, getting a ton of base hits, get on, get over, and then move home, right? And that's they've done an unbelievable job of that, putting 11 on the board. In fact, they run their scoring count this year to 270 runs.
They're going to need a few more if they want to keep this run going. But, they punched their ticket to the regional tournament. They keep it rolling, and both their first few playoff games have been in deciding fashion.
The win goes to Ryan Kirkendall. Perfect in 8 decisions this year as Aaron Adkins can't survive the second inning. For Valley View, he falls to a record of 1-2 to fall and to end the season. As far as improvement in record here for Badin, 25-5 on the season as they move to the regional, and after a 10-game winning streak, it's 16-13, the final mark for Valley View. Final thoughts on this one?
Just a complete win. They came out early, they got a few runs in that second inning that put the difference between them. And then, of course, with Ryan Kirkendall out on that bump, just controlling the game, controlling the pace of game, and getting, I believe, 7 or 8 strikeouts on the hill for him, getting the win, continuing his great season on the mound, and Badin's still rolling here in the postseason.
Struck out 5 this time out, giving up only a 1 run in the 6 innings, and, of course, he gets the win in this one. The next time we will see you, it will be next Thursday. For which regional semifinal, we don't know yet. We're hoping for 2. That'll depend upon one of our other games going the way of the Cincinnati region, but we will definitely see these Badin Rams, winners of the Southwest 3 district, take on the winner of Southwest 1. Again, the final here in this one. 11-1, the final. Badin improves to 25-5. They move to the regional semifinals. For Reid Mouse, I'm Geoff Kim. We bid you so long from Kings Mill.